this is the creation, the foundation of what it is we have today. Certainly they're not the first, but they are all eugenicists. And they openly stated that. So along comes then this biological entity. Funny enough, Event 201, has anybody heard about that? So that was the practice run. It happened all of 2 months before we had the bioweapon released. So the theory of the case goes something along these lines. Conspirators planned, invented, created a biowarfare weapon in joint collaboration with the Chinese government, or some part thereof, to purposefully release the COVID weapon, to cause terror, economic hardship, depression, false imprisonment, injury, death to the global population, and psychological warfare, all under this word called a pandemic. We call it plandemic. It required complicitors who used their media apparatus for the purpose of public policy, coercion, travel restrictions, employment restrictions, liberty restrictions, all in furtherance of a criminal enterprise, to trick, to coerce, to intimidate, to compel global populations into receiving one or more experimental gene therapy shots. I think you all understand that, as these are not vaccines. They're not vaccines by definition, and certainly they are experimental. Going back to the Nuremberg Code, which is patently illegal to say nothing at all, right? Informed consent is one of the deals that you have to do. How can you have informed consent when the inserts to the package, I don't know if anybody ever seen that. They pull out the box, the vial comes in and pull out the insert. There's nothing on it. So how can you have informed consent? How can you understand what is in this experimental shot if there's literally nothing at all printed on the paper? They used the experimental gene therapy shots, in addition, for the delivery of nanoparticles, lipid nanoparticles. What is that? If you can imagine, these are atomic-sized delivery devices. And you carry around, I guess it's called proteins, viruses, whatever it is, antigens, designed to make your body react in a certain way. They use nanoparticles to genetically modify, track, record, provide signals intelligence, programming, and complete control over humanity. And the completion of the crime, of the criminal enterprise, is to tag, track, code, rate, measure, restrict, manipulate, dominate of every person and their rights on this planet. That's the theory of our case. Has anybody ever heard of Agenda 21, the agenda for the 21st century? Again, going back to international law, multilateral convention. It started really 1994, the Rio Conventions. We're going to save the planet. Save the planet because humans are the cause of all the ills that we have here. Anthropogenic destruction. So out of that climate accord came, again, a series of multilateral treaties, generally known as Agenda 21 and now Agenda 2030. I'm sure you've heard the buzzword sustainable development. So sustainable development requires, guess what? None of us. We're not sustainable. There are three primary missions, Agenda 21. One, the elimination of private property rights. Communism is what that is. Two, the elimination of borders. You can see that there was mass migration around Europe. We have mass migration happening here. That really means loss of sovereignty, all in furtherance of this one world government that is largely in place as it is right now. Item three is a massive reduction in the world's population. That sure sounds like a plan, a criminal one, in fact. And that's why this is all based on conspiracy. So we, as private citizens, cannot prosecute crimes ourselves exactly. However, for crimes against humanity, there is something called universal jurisdiction. What does that mean? It means the crimes are so heinous so intolerable to society that anybody has the right to investigate the crime. Anybody has the right to report that crime. And any court, any law enforcement body, any legislature on the planet has the right to pursue that crime. So we're here as lawyers trying to help people. We created this form criminal complaint and people have downloaded it more than 12,000 times, so I've come to find. Thank you. We have cases going forward in, as I understand it, South Africa, United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, and now the Western United States.
Накратко, ще публикуваме интернет адресът, откъдето може да си извадите този формуляр и вие, уважаеми зрители. Последните думи, които ще кажа и ще закрия рубриката от мрежата са: а вие чували ли сте в България изразът устойчиво развитие?